Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Brockton Resident Forum. Today is Sunday, December 12th. My name is Jamal Brathwaite, and I'll be your host. On today's forum, we have a new member that I would like for them to introduce themselves. Michael, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, how you guys doing? My name is Michael Nunes. I actually ran for council at large prior election. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough votes to make it, but there's always next time.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Michael. And we really appreciate you joining today's Brockton Resident Forum, where our goal is to disseminate information that is an outcome of Brockton City Council meetings to the public. So on today's agenda for this week coming up, we'll start by looking at our events calendar. So I'm going to begin by sharing my screen so we can see what's on the events calendar. That on Monday, December 13th, there's a License Commission special meeting taking place from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. We have a City Council meeting scheduled for Monday, December 13th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that will go into more detail in today's call. On Tuesday, December 14th, we have a Zoning Board of Appeals meeting from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We have a Library Board of Trustees meeting happening on Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30. On Wednesday, December 15th, we have a Conservation Commission meeting taking place from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. On December 16th, we have a License Commission meeting. Now, it looks like this is the normal schedule monthly meeting taking place from December 16th, taking place from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on December 16th. And then we have, it looks like we have another ZBA meeting, Zoning Board of Appeals Zoom meeting taking place on December 16th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also on the 16th, Thursday, December 16th, we have the D.W. Field Park Association Board of Trustees meeting from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on Friday, we've got a Black-owned Brockton Holiday Market from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Westgate Mall. Also, we have a Davis K-8 School Council meeting from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And on Friday, the 17th, we also have the first meeting of the African American Association from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And that's fascinating that it's also included on our City Council events calendar. So let's go ahead and click on that a little bit more and see what information we have available. So the first meeting of the African American Association of Brockton will take place on December 17th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So here the message reads, come learn about the newly founded African American Association. This event will be held via Zoom. Please reach out to the president, Jamie Hodges, via email. And they've got our email address here. So that's very helpful. Okay, great. December 16th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So if we look at the City Council meeting taking place on Monday, the December 13th, you know what, before we even get to the agenda of tomorrow, that's going to take place tomorrow, I would recommend we actually just take a look at the outcome of the last week's Finance Committee meeting that happened on December 6th. And I say that because I want us to look at some of the topics and the outcome of that meeting. So here is an agenda from the Monday, December 6th. There was a topic as a follow-up from one of our action points was to learn more about the Diversity Commission. And I noticed that on topic 6 or agenda 6 from Monday, December 6th, there was the reappointment of a member to the Diversity Commission for a 3-year term. I wanted to take time to just share an excerpt from that meeting so we can have appreciation of how, what was discussed.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Reappointment. Reappointment of Janet Trask of 121 Longwood Avenue, Brockton, Mass. 02301 to the Diversity Commission for a 3-year term ending November 2024. Invited, Janet Trask.
Sue, get your camera out.
Jack told me you get one automatically somewhere.
You're on TV, look. How are you, Janet? Nice to see you as always.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to leave us with? I mean, you do so much, so we know so much about you and how you get things done, and let's just move forward, right?
Thank you. It would be an honor for me to continue in the same capacity on the Diversity Commission in my community that I love, and particularly now, it's a critical time in our city, in our country, and in our world.
Yep.
So,
It's definitely a critical time. It really is.
Motion to recommend favorably.
Second.
Motion, Councilor Rodriguez.
I just have a quick question.
Uh-oh.
Not necessarily about you, but about the commission. When was the last time that you guys have met? Is it kind of dormant right now?
It was because of the pandemic, but we're resuming. We've had one meeting, and there are 2 new people that have been appointed, so things should be happening soon.
Yeah. So how many folks do we have now on that commission, do you know?
Let's see, I believe we have, with the 2 new ones, I believe 6?
Okay.
7 with the.
Do you see any issues that you might bring forward in terms of diversity and inclusion in the city within the next few months?
The next
Any
3
plans?
months? Well, our job is to increase consciousness of injustice in our community, wherever it might be, and I hope to be diligent in that mission.
Well, thank you for your service to the city, and thanks for the pictures, by the way. I do see them from time to time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Azak?
Just through you to my colleague, my at-large counselor, Rodriguez. The commission did have a scheduled meeting for last week, I believe, on Thursday, but unfortunately didn't have a quorum, but they did schedule a meeting last week.
Right, and we did have one prior to that, the month before, that real people came and sat at the table, so.
So hopefully, with the more people being appointed or reappointed, they'll be able to attend the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions? Was the motion made already?
It was.
Motion's made and seconded, and now it's sending it back to the full city council. All in favor? Opposed? Goes back to the full city council, and next Monday evening, we'll appoint you for life. Thank you, Jim, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Ms.
Appreciate it
Trax.
very much.
Okay. And so what I took away from that was that, so I heard the question that was asked by a city councilor who asked to learn more about what is taking place in the Diversity Commission. I was surprised to hear that the commission really didn't meet for 2 years. And the reason around that we were provided was because of COVID. That was one takeaway observation. And the second takeaway observation was listening how an existing member of the Diversity Commission would describe, would answer or respond to a question about what are the priorities of the Diversity Commission. And I really didn't, walk away observing that with a clear understanding, but it's something I would love to learn more about. I'll pause and just, did anyone else have observations?
I was curious, and honestly, I do find that reason curious when everyone else manages to work via Zoom and have a meeting, like everybody else, whole companies stay going. So to say that COVID was the reason, and then to not be able to really state what your purpose is, that was a little odd to me.
I agree, Michelle. That was puzzling and not reassuring that this commission is doing or going to do anything worthy. But I hope they do.
Michael Nunez, what were your thoughts about that?
I'm with them. Same thing. Like, you could have Zoom meetings as well. So not having no Zoom meetings or anything like that, or just not sending a letter out telling people, I thought they was having meetings this whole time as I'm just sitting here at home. I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody was informed of anything. They should keep the public informed, especially for the diverse community commission.
So as an outcome of observing that and as active residents, I'll just send a follow-up chaser email to obtain the meeting minutes and maybe, and once again, in my initial communication to the clerk, I had asked for the meeting minutes and if those diversity commission meetings can be recorded on VCA and available on YouTube for the public to observe, listen, and understand.
And can I add another thought? I agree with everything that Michelle and Mark have said. And I also wonder what the conversation was like before that council meeting, and how it is that a commission that has not met for 2 years got space and opportunity now.
Once we obtain the meeting minutes, maybe we'll gain more clarity. Maybe we may even have a commission member at some point join our Zoom call and they can enlighten us as well. So. Okay, so moving forward, as an outcome, once again, part of our mandate is to disseminate information that's an outcome of city council meetings to the public. So we went over one topic that was observed from last Monday's city council meeting. Another topic pertained to the redistricting of Brockton. And I wanted to share an excerpt from that as well, so that we can have a discussion about it. So bear with me one moment.
Ordered that the Brockton City Council adopts new precinct lines based upon the official United States 2020 Census block level data. These boundaries will take effect on December 31st, 2021. Attached maps and legal boundary descriptions as prepared by the Massachusetts Secretary of State's office. Invited Timothy Cruz, City Clerk, Cynthia Scrivani, Director of Elections, Michael Owens, Re-Precincting Community Engagement Director.
Good evening, councilors. Just a little background on what we're doing tonight. It's actually pretty cut and dried. Michael Owens from the Secretary of State's office is here. Every 10 years, based on the federal census, we have to redraw ward and precinct lines. And it's overseen by the Secretary of State's office, and actually the law changed a little bit this year. But this map and these, you have at your seats, copies of the current ward and precinct lines and the proposed. And the most interesting part of the whole night, the ward lines have not changed at all. So there are no changes to any ward lines. There are some minor precinct changes inside of each precinct. We worked very hard with the Secretary of State's office to make sure that no candidate, while this was going on, no candidate or elected official has been moved out of any precinct or ward. The original early maps that might have happened that the Secretary of State's office drew up, but they worked very closely with us. However, the early maps were based on preliminary information. The great news is that and I think most of you know this, but our 2010 lines are based on a population of 93,000 people. The 2020 lines are now based on over 105,000 people. So we've picked up about 11% across the city growth. And just so the public understands, the precinct lines are based on census tracts. And in fact, I think maybe Mr. Owens can address this a little bit more, but you can't move a street line or one particular block. You have to move by census blocks, which is why it's kind of like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. So occasionally and in the old days, it sometimes was done that way, and it wasn't the best thing in the world, where whoever was drawing the lines might say, we're going to push this block here because we're trying to move that person into or out of a ward. You can't do that anymore. And I think as you look, I assume, are the maps on your TVs right now? I know they're very difficult to see, but the outside lines of the wards have not changed at all. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. This does have to happen. I would usually be upset to bring this in front of you with a timeline like this. This has to be approved tonight, and then at final council Monday night. If it doesn't get to the Secretary of State's office by December 15th, it's kind of a moot point because they would appoint a master to draw these lines. Essentially, it would be what you're voting on anyways, because these lines were done with the Secretary of State's office. And again, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Or if you have any questions for Mr. Owens from the Secretary of State's office, or if you just want to get home to the football game, that's good too.
Councilor Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening, Mr. Clerk. So as you stated that some of the changes here were precinct changes.
Precinct changes, very minor, but a few.
Some were minor, but I did notice some in 5. Is there any way that over, at least prior to the next election, and hopefully much sooner than that, we could get something where it's specific about what streets change to what new precincts?
Yes, I'll work with Cindy in the election office so that we can notify the people, because it will be very few, but we'll want to notify the people that will be voting in a different precinct early on, so they know, and we'll try to get that information out. Again, it's really a job of the election office, but I'll work with her to make sure we get that information out early and probably 2 or 3 times in different forms.
So you're saying there is a notice requirement to inform the residents, or?
I don't know if it's in the law, or maybe Mr.
okay.
Owens can address that. Watch your step there. But we will be doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Counselor, I can't speak to whether it's a requirement from the statute. I apologize, but I do know that our office, at the end of this process, once all 351 cities and towns are approved by the LEDRC, our office will then go through coding those addresses and providing those through the voter registry to the city so that notifications can go out.
Okay.
So we ensure that.
That's important. What's the time frame on that would we expect?
Unfortunately, because this time around, you may be aware, due to the delay with the census data from the Census Bureau, that has caused this entire process to push back. Normally, this would have been done in June or July to allow those notices to go out by the end of the year. Our deadline for approval to the LEDRC is December 15th, next week. And then we have to turn all of that information around pretty quickly. So I can't, because we're operating in kind of a different timeline than normally, I can't give you an exact time frame, but we are going to be basically working around the clock to get that process done, hopefully by end of the year or early January, to get that information out as soon as possible, because it will affect state elections as well,
right,
which nomination papers come out in February. So we're working, that's kind of our, our target that we have to get this done by.
Great, and I'm glad that obviously you guys would be aware of that, and it's important that we do that. I just asked Mr. Clerk if any, any information that's related to the clerk's office or to the elections office regarding the changes, if that could be shared with the rest of the council, it'd be appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd keep you informed. And again, as Michael stated, I think most of you know that we have no effect on drawing the lines for the either the congressional districts or the state rep districts and state senate districts, but there have been some changes that are going to be taking place. So we do want to get that information out early and kind of early and often, so that because there are going to be some changes and people need to be aware of them. The worst thing is to try to get that word out to people in that last week or so and have people going to the wrong place. And
right,
for fair and free elections, you want that information out early, and we will. We're working hard to get that done.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Clerk. No further questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All set? Okay. Any other councilors?
Motion to recommend favorably back to the full city council.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to recommend favorably back to the full city council. All in favor on that? Opposed? Goes back to the full city council.
Okay. Well, what was everyone's thoughts about that discussion regarding the city council adopts a new precinct lines based upon the official U.S. Census from 2020, and the boundaries will take effect from December 31st.
Okay, so everyone's in the same ward. What does it mean what does being in a precinct mean? What do precinct changes mean? I mean, I know it means maybe which table you go to vote at, but beyond that, does it mean anything?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah. But that's something it sounds like Tim Cruz is the subject matter expert on the topic.
Definitely. Okay.
Through questions to him. So, okay. All right. And then the other major topic was the noise ordinance was also on the agenda from Monday, and that's been postponed to discuss in another 2 weeks' time. So on our screen now, we can see that for Monday, December 13th, this is the city council meeting agenda scheduled. And in total, there are 37 items scheduled to be discussed. It's communications from the fire chief recommending the promotion to the rank of fire lieutenant in the Brockton Fire Department. Number 9 is the mayor recommending the promotion of a firefighter, same as topic 8. Topic 10 pertains to the mayor informed the city council that Stephen Bernard is stepping down from the ZBA effective November 16th, 2021. Mr. Bernard is stepping down due to moving out of the city of Brockton. Okay, so topic number 11 is from the mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, recommended city council authorize a total proposed approval of $7,500 some odd dollars from the finance department, purchase of services to Public Consulting Group Incorporated. Topic 12 is the same as topic 11. Topic 13 is regarding from the police department grant coordinator requesting that the grant award documents be processed to allow the city of Brockton to expend the BGA fiscal year 2021, the Kevin and Avante program, reducing injury and death of missing individuals with dementia and development disabilities funding opportunity award in the amount of $150,000. We'll move on to agenda item 14. 14 looks like it's a continuation of agenda 13. Agenda 15 from the CFO in accordance with section 5 of chapter 324, the acts of 1990, certifying that the financial resources and revenues of the city of Brockton are and will continue to be adequate to support the grant funds in the amount of $150,000. Okay, yep, so this is picking up on topics 13, 14. Topic 16 is from the mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, recommending that the city council authorize the acceptance of a donation of 28.2 acres of vacant land. The value of this land is $725,000.
Jamal, sorry to cut you off. That land is right there in 26. It's off School Street. It says it right there off School Street. And then it's periods, and it says Pembroke, Mass, owned by Richard. I think the guy that owns it is in Pembroke. So the land, it's that building that they just demoed right next to City Hall, that white building that was demoed recently. That's what they're talking about.
Okay, so but it says the acceptance of donation for 28.2 acres of vacant land. I'm trying to understand that concept.
12 and 26 off School Street. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, but it says off School Street. Then it says period. Pembroke, Mass. The communication there is very, it's very confusing.
So yeah, topic 16 looks fascinating. The acceptance of a donation, that sounds wonderful. And it sounds like the donation value is $725,000. So that's significant. So we will stay in tune to observe how this is discussed during the next city council meeting. Topic number 17 from the CFO in accordance with section 5 of chapter 324, the acts of 1990, certifying that the financial resources and revenue of the city of Brockton are and will continue to be adequate to support the donation of 28.2 acres of vacant land. So this ultimately 16 and 17 are the same topic. Next category of conversations or of the agenda is petitions. Number 18, the petition of James Murphy for a license to solicit and canvass on behalf of CC Technologies, a solar energy and storage provider. Okay. I'll pause. Does anyone want to discuss anything from the agenda so far?
Those, they keep letting all these random solar people just wander around here. And I have to tell you personally, I have found some of them a little bit much, quite pushy, even when and they're not very organized, they're very pushy. And I'm wondering if anyone even pays attention to who they're just letting walk around here.
That's a good question. I mean, that's a good observation. I mean, I know from my own observation, I get a lot of people knocking on my door to sell solar panels. And my observation is many of the people who are doing the promotions, when you listen to them and you follow up to get a quote, I just don't feel like the professionalism is there when they provide you the information. Oftentimes the information seems to be something that they create versus something that is a standardized documentation that is communicated to all households. But that's a good question, Michelle. Are we really, is the city watching and monitoring who they give a petition to go solicit residents to sell solar panels? So, okay, I'm going to move on to unfinished business. Topic 19, an ordinance creating a revolving fund pursuant to Massachusetts general laws of the city of Brockton, section 53E and a half, that the following language be adopted as a city of Brockton ordinance. The roadway design and construction revolving fund shall be created. Programs or activities for which the roadway design and construction revolving fund may be expended shall be consistent with purposes for road paving, roadway repairs, design and construction of roads in the city of Brockton. Receipts of payments of fines and fees for the engineering, design, construction, and paving of projects in the city of Brockton shall be credited to the roadway design and construction revolving fund. Expenditures from the roadway design and construction revolving fund shall be made on authority and direction of the Brockton DPW commissioner, provided that no more than $1 million may be expended from the roadway design and construction revolving fund during fiscal year 22. Okay, we shall move forward. 28 is an order that the city council of Brockton hereby authorizes the creation and operation of a municipal light plant, including a telecommunication system as allowed by the Massachusetts general laws. Does anyone want to speak to this at all?
Yep. 28 is something I always said. Taunton had this for a while now. So the way it works, I know a lot about this because I campaigned on this, and it's funny how after I campaigned on it, they want to mention it now. Brockton had a lighting plant, Taunton Municipal Lighting Plant, TMLP, and they have their own, what they mean by telecommunications, I think they include in internet as well, because Taunton creates their own power and sells it to the city and to the residents in other towns too nearby. They have a lot of, other towns that purchase electricity from Taunton, and all the profit that they make, it creates a tax levy. So, and I said this for a while now. I just find it very funny now that they brought this up as an order. And you could go on my campaign page on my Facebook, and you see that I mentioned this. I've spoken with city council members from Taunton, and they said this best thing they ever did. The internet in all schools is free, essentially, because they create the internet and all that. So, I mean, I like this idea. I'm for it 100%, but they should give credit where it's due, because I said this for a while now, for like 2 or 3 years now.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that background information. We appreciate that, Michael. So we're going to move forward with the agenda. Number 29 is order the city of Brockton does hereby take in fee in accordance with the Massachusetts general laws. The following described parcel of land, and so that's 99 Warren Avenue. This pertains to the transfer of land to the city that will be used for the purpose of creating a public safety complex. Here we've got a paragraph. We have considered and estimated the damage sustained by all persons who have not weighed damages in their several states, and hereby determine and award the same as follows: to be paid from the bond amounts previously authorized by the city council for purchases or taking of property for public safety and general municipal purposes. And then we have this amount that reads $2.4 million. So, and that's expected to be a favorable outcome. So, alrighty, and we're getting there. Item 30 is that the following named sum be, and the same is hereby appropriated as the same as submitted by the mayor, and it's total of $3.5 million. And this is to pay for overtime for the police department for fiscal year 2020, 2021, and 2022. So, and the source of these funds are the stabilization fund, where $2.2 million will be sourced from, and ARPA fund, where $1.3 million will be sourced to equate to the spending of overall $3.5 million. So, all right, topic 31, ordered that the Brockton City Council adopts a new precincts lines based upon the official U.S. 2020 Census. The boundaries will take effect December 31st, and this we discussed earlier. 32, that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the city of Brockton require the laying out and acceptance of Sheridan Street. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Topic 33 is order that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the city of Brockton require the laying out of Roberta Avenue from the end of 1966 layout, a distance of 502.18 feet to Harlan Circle. And for the purpose, it is necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and lay out as a public street or way of said city of Brockton, said easement passing by or over lands now or formerly of those persons shown in Exhibit A attached hereto and made as part of this taking. And there's no attachment on this agenda, but we can acquire this by reaching out to city clerk. But this topic seems reasonable. 34, that the common necessity and convenience and the inhabitants of the city of Brockton require a laying out of Harlan Terrace and Roberta Avenue easterly, a distance of 367 feet. And for the purpose, it is necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and lay out as a public street or way of said city of Brockton. Said easement passing by or over lands now or formerly of those persons shown on Exhibit A attached hereto and made a part of this taking. So, and we're getting near to the end. Orders number 35, that the city council authorize the total proposed approval of $7,587.96 to the Public Consulting Group Incorporated. This will be used to pay an invoice dated April 28, 2021. Item number 36, the city council authorized the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $150,000. And this we spoke about above. And but one thing we should add on is these grants funds will be used to reintroduce the Project Lifesaver program into the Brockton Police Department. Locative bracelets and accessories will be purchased to be distributed to individuals with dementia or development disabilities. Corresponding receivers will be purchased for the police station. Project Lifesaver Train the Trainer training will be provided to 8 officers. All sworn staff and cadets then can be trained in the program, and overtime for bi-monthly battery checks, which will also serve as family check-ins, and resource referral opportunities will be funded. Okay, well, that sounds really good. We're looking out for people who have dementia and disabilities where they would benefit from this program. Glad to see this. Item number 37, order that the city council authorize the acceptance of a donation of 28.2 acres of vacant land, and that's we discussed already. And lastly, they've got council's recognition. The council business as listed in the agenda has been emailed to the city council members in their complete form, with the exception of oversized materials such as maps, photos, etc. Okay, so I will pause and let's have a discussion. Was there anything on that agenda scheduled for Monday, December 13th that people would like to learn more about or to discuss?
Yeah, I want to know more about the lighting plant, details of it, when it's gonna, be everything about it, with the location. Are they gonna use a third party, obviously gonna use someone else to build the plant and all that. And where are they now with it? Because it's the first time I ever heard any mention of this lighting plant at all in the time I've been living in Brockton of 30 years.
Another topic I'd like to bring to everyone's attention is that on Friday, December 10th, Brockton City Government has now made an ARPA grant program available for the public to apply to. And so if you go to the City of Brockton website, you can see, if you scroll down here for December 10th, it reads ARPA grant program. And if you click on it, you can see here's your application. The City of Brockton is committing $2 million in fiscal recovery funds to Brockton-based nonprofit agencies and faith-based organizations as part of the first phase of funding under a newly implemented ARPA grant program. The application is now live on the City of Brockton website. And ultimately, if you're interested, you would just click on this link and it would take you to a button where it says apply now, and you can go ahead and get your application process on. Okay, so on that topic, I'm going to move on to another topic that I think is really important. and it pertains to the role of the city clerk. So here in the city of Brockton, we currently have an interim city clerk. The deadline to apply for the role of city clerk was November 18th. So that application deadline has now passed. It was a 30-day window when anyone from the public could apply. And so now the city of Brockton has resumes of people who've expressed interest. Now, we as the public want to know who applied. We as the public want to know what the process will be to consider who will be our next city clerk, who will take that role on for the next 3 years. Well, I'd like to open up the forum for hot topics or new topics that people like to raise to the public's attention.
Just want to remind people, and because I hadn't been paying attention, the Council of Elders really has, they really offer a lot of good things for our seniors. There was an issue a couple of weeks ago where there was some concern that some of our seniors were being left in the cold. So I would encourage folks who either work with seniors, have seniors in their family in Brockton, please go and check out their site. There's a lot of information. They have a lot of programs, and it's definitely worth checking out.
Thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate that. Well, on that note, I guess this pretty much brings us to the end of this week's Brockton Resident Forum. And I want to thank all those who attended. I want to thank all those in the public who continue to engage positively with city government to see positive outcomes for the community here in the city of Brockton. So on that note, I want to say thank you for watching, and please feel free to reach out to me or any one of our members on the Brockton Resident Forum. We would love to have you on for a future show. And on that note, I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you, and may God bless the city of Brockton.
Have a good week.
Jamal.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.